Hello everyone, it's Michelle from michelleeves.com. I had a really wonderful question the other day from a beautiful lady who wanted to know how to get in touch with her divine feminine more, her feminine side, and what is that? And I get asked this question a lot, so I thought I would do a video for you all of how I've come to understand it, and we're going to go through a couple of practices that can help you get in touch with that and bring that out, embody that part of you. So all of us are made up of divine feminine and divine masculine energy. Even as a female, you have masculine energy, and as a male, you have feminine energy. All of us have a different blend of that and a unique blend. Now, a lot of us think of feminine energy as flowy skirts, flowery, girly, when that is not exactly what we're talking about. They can be manifestations of feminine energy, but then there are people who don't wear flowery skirts and who don't do their makeup and are still very feminine in their energy. So I'm going to talk a little bit, let's talk a little bit about masculine and feminine energy to start with. So I've got my trusty Sharpie, hopefully it works. So masculine energy. Masculine energy, straight line. It's logical, it's linear, it's focused. It moves from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. It is protective. It holds space. It's like the container that holds the divine feminine. And so when you are in your masculine energy as a woman, you will experience that as your focus. Those times when you're trying to just focus on the one thing and get it done. Feminine energy. Let's see if I can do this. You've got to bear with me. Okay, so feminine energy is a spiral. And for many of us women, we experience, and men, they might see feminine energy as the squiggle. Well, let's try and do that backwards. So that's sometimes how we feel when actually it's this. Now, our world is mostly divine masculine. Bear with me. I'm trying to, in the computer, it's opposite. So when I do that, my finger's actually pointing the opposite way to what you're seeing it. But, and what I'm seeing it. So our world is based on masculine energy at the moment. There have been times in history when we've had feminine or matriarchal societies, and there have been a lot of indigenous older societies still contain or still retain a bit of that matriarchal energy. But for us, for a fairly long time in the civilized world, we've been in this masculine energy, which is this straight line, which gives us this goal orientated and productivity and keep going. It's this constant, like a train, just a locomotive just going along the track. Doesn't stop, it just keeps going. So that's the masculine. Now, we've been in times where this is just starting to heal the masculine. It's been broken. Hasn't been its divine version or its highest version of itself. And neither has the divine feminine. The feminine has been diminished for a very long time. And it's just healing now and bring that into being. Now, when we have this working in harmony in our life, it looks like this. So we've got the divine feminine wrapped around the divine masculine, or moving through the divine masculine. Okay, so the feminine, our feminine energy, what are our feminine attributes? So feminine attributes are creative, it's emotional, it's chaotic, or it can feel chaotic. It's intuitive, it's deep and underneath. If we look at this image, it's underneath. It goes down, or if I can do this right, down underneath. The masculine just sort of stays steady along. And then the feminine will come up and it's in this, oh, let me try and do this expansive energy. Oh, I'm doing well. And back down into the deep. Okay. Also, the feminine energy is the creative energy. It creates the idea. It brings it into, not so much into form, but into being. And then our masculine energy helps to bring that into form, into the physical. Now, many of us women, your body is feminine. Every woman on the planet, no matter what, your body is feminine. And it is where you are naturally your best. It is where you naturally, when you reside in your feminine energy, it is where you create more energy. If you spend too much time in your masculine, it will tire you out. Your body isn't naturally designed to enhance masculine energy. On the other hand, men, if they're too much in their feminine, they will get tired. And they need their masculine. They don't necessarily get tired, actually. They get disempowered when they're too much in their feminine. Because for them, their natural state in their body is in their masculine energy. And if they're not feeling that, then they don't feel very manly. They don't feel themselves. So it's really, really important to remember you're in a feminine body, in a female body, and so your feminine energy is your natural state of being. Although it's not to say that you shouldn't use your masculine. As I find I'm very, very feminine, and it makes it hard to organize sometimes. It makes it hard to be focused. It makes it hard to bring things into a structure and a form. And in my household, my husband is very masculine. And so we are slowly learning to bring that balance in and work together with that, because we were polar opposites for a long time, and he couldn't understand me and I couldn't quite understand his masculine. He couldn't understand my feminine. And over the years, it's slowly coming to this beautiful balance. But in some households, it's the other way around. Like I said, everybody has a different blending of that masculine and feminine. But even if your blending is that you have a really strong masculine, your natural state of being is in your feminine. Now, what happens in our world when we've got just this masculine energy, okay? So we're living in a world that's got just this masculine energy. There's no depth to it. There's no cycles. Remember that the feminine energy was the spiral here, and so it moves in cycles. We always move in cycles. And even the masculine does, we just don't see it so much. So if you imagine the masculine, it's not just a straight line, I suppose. It goes in this big, you can see that, a big cycle. Because still humans, we still move in cycles. Okay. So let's see what else. So we've got that in a female body, your energy is naturally more, your natural state is in your feminine energy, and it renews you. In your masculine energy, it tires you out. That's not to say you don't use your masculine energy, but you need to bring yourself back to your feminine regularly to renew yourself. Okay, we work in cycles. And the world, our society at the moment does not work in cycles. If you think of, like, for my business and for me, I run my own business, and for quite a few years now, I take time off around the full moon. Every month, I take time off. I have my menstrual cycles with the full moon rather than the new moon, which is something that we're going to talk about in a minute as well, is following the moon cycles. And so I've learned, because I get so spacey and so inward, that for me taking time off then works really, really well. It was a hard lesson to learn, because I would book appointments and I would book things on those times, and it never ever would work out. It would tire me out, or I'd be not so good and I'd have to cancel. So for me, I've learned to honor that. I honor those cycles, and the more I move and work with my cycles, the more efficient I become, the more productive I become, which is counterintuitive to what the world tells us. The world tells us to keep going in this straight line, which is that masculine viewpoint. And for men, that's fine. It works quite well. But when we do it, it drains all of our hormones. How many women do you know with adrenal fatigue? How many women with fertility problems? How many women who are just walking around in zombie land? Coffee addictions. How many of us do not honor those cycles in our life? So it's really important. So steps to get in touch with your feminine energy. Okay, honor your cycles. Honor that you're cyclic. So 1, honor our cycles. Honor our cycles. Now, for you, it's not so easy. If you've got a job, you can't say to your boss, hey, I'm going to take a week off every month. And your week might not coincide with the full moon. I encourage you to take some time to go inwards when you start your period, those first few days. So you might not be able to take time off work, but you can structure your life a little bit around that. And so you take time, instead of going out, instead of doing things, you may just even spend an evening journaling or meditating or lighting a candle. You've got to find something that works for you. I love ritual and ceremony. I believe so much in it bringing structure, that masculine, but it brings structure to that energy. It sets an intent it says to the universe, I am going to be in this space. It says to your body, I'm going to be in this space. So take some time. If you can't take time off work, take time out from life for a little bit, for a couple of days. Be gentle with yourself. So I'm learning. I still don't always do it, but I try and take some time. I don't do harsh exercise during that week. I may do a bit of gentle yoga or walking. I try not to do any harsh activities or strong activities. So I'm not going to be out digging in the garden. Although there are some times that I do that are really bad because I feel it. My body cannot cope with it. And I just honor that my body is going through this releasing time. So the more you get in touch with your cycles, when you are ovulating, work out when you're ovulating. When you are ovulating, you are you are releasing new ideas. There is so much creative potential when you release an egg in your body. That is full of creative potential, that egg. And your ovaries are storing millions of them. I think there's thousands and thousands of eggs in there. And even if you have finished menstruating, if you're now past menopause, your body still goes through cycles. So start to understand them. They're not as defined as when your menstrual cycle is going, but your body still does it. And it's in this amazing time of wisdom when you're past menopause. You've become the wise woman and the crone. Start honoring that and learning those cycles. Your body will still sync with the moon. It's another thing. So honor your cycles. 2, align with the moon. Now this can sound a little bit like woo-woo, witchy woo-woo, which it is. You don't have to go dancing naked under the moon. So number 2, align with the moon. Just become aware of it. Is it full moon? Is it a new moon? Is it a dark moon? What stage of the moon is it at in the sky? Now, the reason this is important, the moon affects the tides on our planet. So the gravitational pull of the moon affects the oceans. The oceans are massive on our planet, and it affects all the water on our planet. And we as human beings are made up mostly of water, so the moon is going to affect us. As women, our bodies cycle with this moon. It's an amazing connection. Amazing, amazing connection. So the more that you can just become aware of that, the more your body will start to sync with the moon and cycle with the moon. And the more you'll become aware of your cycles. This one up here. Okay. So, number 3, get to know your female body. Okay. Get to know your female body. Many, many women. Do you know there are so many women who don't even know that they have a urethra? They don't even know that there are 3 holes down there, that they think that they pee out of their vaginas. Get to know your female body. Get to know your anatomy. Touch your female body. How often do you massage your breasts? Massage your tummy. Massage your arms. Massage your curves. Massage your ass. Feel your legs and your feet. Do you know that most women, when they find out they've got lumps in their breasts, find a lump, it's their partner that's found it. So much so that we've got campaigns to remind us to check our breasts. Now, how is that even happening? It's our own body. We should be touching it. We should be feeling it. We should be connecting with it. If your female body is the connection to your feminine energy, connect to your female body. And that's not just, don't just numbly go, yep, touch. Like, notice it. Notice your curves. Notice that you've got the flabby arms. I'm actually learning to love them. Learn to love your body. Learn to love your female presence. This is a physical manifestation of your feminine energy. And we're so disconnected from it. So get to know your female body. Get to know your sexuality. Understand your orgasms. Understand how you work. Honor it. It's an amazing, amazing way of getting in touch with your feminine energy. And move your body. Move your body in, I'll put sensual ways. Okay, move your body in sensual ways. This is another one that is fantastic for getting in touch with your feminine energy and enhancing that in your life. So that is just moving your hips, swaying. Most of the time, the movement that we do is exercise. We're very focused, a culture very focused on looking, not having flabby arms, looking powerful and strong, which there is nothing wrong with being powerful and strong, but we push ourselves. That is a very masculine way. When you go to the gym, when you go running, anything that is those strong exercises are very masculine. And even a lot of yoga. Yoga was designed by men. There's now, a few more forms of yoga that are a little bit more flowing. Feminine energy is flowing. It moves. It's like a stream, or a stream just wandering through to the ocean. Sometimes it's deep, and sometimes it's shallow and crystal clear and bubbling around rocks, and sometimes it's a raging torrent. So move your body in sensual ways. Even if you are the worst dancer in the world, just move it. Move it to some music. If you're doing yoga or anything like that, any practice like that, allow your body to move about in it, not just do the strong, powerful poses. Allow your body to move a little as well. Bring that in. Connect to your breath. Connect to your female body in that process. Move your hips. Your hips are so feminine. Your boobs and your hips are what defines females a lot of the time, that shape. Our hips are different physically to men's. They're designed so that we can give birth to children. So move them, connect to them. Okay, so move your body in sensual ways is another great way of getting in touch with your feminine energy. Number 5, we're just touching a little bit on that. Honor your emotions and emotional landscape. Okay. Honor your emotions and emotional landscape. So, many of us women, how often do we stop ourselves from crying in public? How many of you in your workplace push it down, push all that emotion down rather than allowing it out? Do you know that it was until World War II, women were not allowed to in the workforce, or it wasn't seen as appropriate because women were too emotional and unstable to work outside of the home. And it wasn't until World War II, when they had no men to work in the positions and to keep the countries running, that women had to step in, and they had to change their actual marketing around that to encourage women to come and help. And that's when it shifted. That's not that long ago. And there is still a viewpoint, they still do not test. You know, they don't test vaccines, maybe some of the others, but flu vaccines on female rats and stuff because they're seen as too unpredictable. Stress was never measured in women. All stress studies up until 30 years ago were only done on men because they were seen as too unpredictable to be good test subjects. Now, men and women, we process stress in very, very different ways. So a lot of the teachings about stress, a lot of the information out there about stress is only to do with men and the way men process and deal with stress. Very, very different to the way women do. So many different things, because I think that's everything that I can remember about that. So honor your emotions. Let's change the world with that. Remember, we're living in a very masculine society, but we can shift that. The only reason we're still living in a masculine society is because women have adhered to it. We are the creative force on the planet. We bring that intent. We birth a new way of being into the world. Men cannot do that. The masculine energy is not designed for that. And so if we want a new way of being, if we want a new way of living, we need to birth it. We need to bring it into being, and then the masculine energy comes in and takes it forward. So if we want the world to change, we need to change it, and we need to start with ourselves. So honor your emotions and your emotional landscape. So often we try and fit in with this line at the top. We try and keep our emotions steady. I know I've worked with many, many clients who have been put on medication for depression, for bipolar, and for manic depression. And a lot of the time it's just because they are doing this up and down. Not always in a very smooth, steady way, because they've been going through so much, because stress comes out differently in women. We need to move the energy through our body, and that's what emotions are. As women, we need to move that through. We can't keep bottling it up. We cannot do this. And so we get medicated to do this. We do it to our children all the time. Let's medicate them to keep them all on this flat line. And that's not how humans are meant to be. And it's definitely not how women are meant to be. So honor your emotions. A lot of the time, if you honor your emotions and your emotional landscape, they won't build up to huge, huge experiences. A lot of the time, how many of us have PMS and get to that time of the month and go nuts? Absolutely lose our shit. This is because we've been doing this all month instead of moving up and down and through our emotional landscape. And so it gets to PMS time and we don't have any filters anymore. We cannot hold it back. And when you are honoring your cycles, you will start to honor that happens. You will find that your body will naturally, as you're coming up to start your period, okay, you're starting to get PMS, you will find that your body will naturally start to want to start releasing. So it will release emotional experiences. It will release your worries and your stress, and it brings it up and out. If you do not do that, if you keep holding it in, your body has to release it in some way, and so you get heavier periods. You get more pain. These are all linked. If you are honoring your cycle and honoring your whole body's experience of that cycle, your whole life experience of that cycle, not just the physical things that are happening, then you will actually find that your cycle will become more regular. It will start to become less painful. It's not designed to be painful. If you have got a lot of pain, there is other stuff going on and not necessarily physical. The physical is just a manifestation of what's going on in your inner landscape. That is another thing. As a female, you need to honor your inner landscape. So let's find another page here. So 5, 6. Honor your inner landscape. And you know how we were talking about before, the up and down that women, let me just turn the page here, that women go through. Okay, so our inner landscape is always moving and changing. And we so often do the bland thing. How many mums do you see, women do you see, and we see ourselves just rushing around and we've just become numb. We're not meant to be numb. We're meant to move through those emotions. We're meant to move through this whole experience of this inner landscape. The creative is inwards. The creative goes down into those depths. The feminine does that, and so we need to honor that time. Allow ourselves time. You need to bring some structure into your life that honors that time. And that's where working with your cycles can help, because it will help to move through all of these experiences in your cycle. And so it's a great, great structure for that, which is a masculine thing, interestingly, structure. Okay, 7. Connect with your womb. Okay, so connect with your womb. Whether you have got one or not, you still energetically have a womb, a uterus, and ovaries. Now your womb is amazing, and I'm going to be teaching some workshops on this, and I'm going to be doing an online course as well for all of you who can't attend a workshop. Your womb is so powerful, so powerful. It holds all your memories and experiences in there. And each month when you go through releasing the lining of your womb, that is the time when you're meant to be releasing those emotions and experiences. But a lot of the time we haven't done that. We haven't honored that. And so there's a build-up within our wombs energetically. It is also, your womb is the connection to every other woman who has been before you on this planet. Every woman in your ancestral line. Her energy is carried within your womb. Within your DNA, but within your womb especially. Now, a long time ago, when, you know how we talked about the matriarchal and the patriarchal societies, as the matriarchal societies were starting to disintegrate, they were in touch with, because they were in touch with the inner landscape that we were talking about, your inner landscape. This connects you deeply to the earth and what is going on with the earth at very subtle levels. Okay, so the women noticed, the wise women, the goddesses, the priestesses, they noticed what was going on. They had an understanding that the masculine was coming forward and being more dominant. They also had an understanding that, or there were some that had an understanding that this was just part of the cycle. They understood cycles, so they knew that it was going to shift and change again one day. They might not have known when. So what they did is they buried, kept safe, is probably a good way of putting it. They kept safe the feminine principles and wisdom deep in their womb space, knowing that each woman that came from that line would carry that through to a time when it was able to be brung forth into the world. And so that time is now. So each of you carry that wisdom within your womb. And as you connect to your womb, you can then bring that wisdom out and forward again for the next turn of the cycle. So connecting with your womb, I'm going to take you through an exercise in a minute, and we're going to connect to our womb because it is also a wonderful, wonderful way of connecting to your feminine energy. Okay. 8, connect to the earth. Okay, so taking time to connect to the earth. Okay. The earth is feminine. Her name is normally Gaia or Mother Earth, Goddess Gaia. Now she is feminine. She sustains all of life on her. And as you connect to her, so sitting under a tree, walking barefoot on the earth, gardening, planting out some veggies. These are all really powerful ways. Swimming in the ocean, climbing mountains, all powerful, powerful ways of connecting with her energy. Breathing in the fresh air. Taking time out of your day. It is best if you did this each and every day. But if you can't, as much as you can. Bring her inside. How many of us live in air-conditioned homes, never opening windows? We go in offices that are air-conditioned all the time with windows that aren't even opening. I've even stayed in a hotel where it was awful because the windows, there was no opening windows, and I could not cope. I could not cope. And it had been a hotel that had been allowed to smoke in many years before. It was an old hotel. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But the smell of the cigarettes without having windows open, oh, it was awful. Stale cigarette. But I could not cope without that connection to the earth. And so take some time. The earth moves in cycles. Like with the moon, the earth herself moves in cycles. We have summer, winter, autumn, spring. Notice her cycles. Become aware of that. Become aware of what's going on with her in your local area. Notice the birds. Notice the animals around you. Become aware of maybe there's a tree in your backyard or front yard. Notice how it moves through different cycles. All of those things connect to the earth. That helps you connect to your feminine energy. Okay. Just asking Spirit if there's anything else. Or knowing, they're telling me connect to your intuition. And listen to your intuition. Connect and listen to your intuition. Okay? Your intuition is a divine feminine gift. And many of us ignore it. Many of us don't honor it. And it's very quiet. And this is where honoring your inner landscape up the top will help you to listen to your intuition. Because you have to be quiet to honor your inner landscape. And to honor your inner landscape is taking some time out. In our busy, busy world with everything going on, you cannot. Now if we go back to our line here. This line, the constant movement does not allow any time for inner work. And we don't value that in society. When I am taking my moon time off, I love that I call it moon time, this becomes this amazing time of honouring these cycles, an amazing time of honouring my inner landscape. And I actually do some of my most amazing, great work in my most quietest times. I am the most productive if I honour that. That's when my visionary self has time to bring through information for me, bring through ideas, bring through inspiration. If I don't allow myself to do that, I burn out. So I really honour this, and it allows me to listen to my intuition greatly and learn what that sounds like. A lot of us, some of us can't hear it, and we have to take time to learn to hear it. And then many of us can hear it, but we ignore it. So it's learning to honour it, learning to honour that it is a gift. In societies, and I remember a couple of past lives I have, especially a really strong one, where I was in like a Native American tribe. And I think I spent many lifetimes in that sort of environment. But what I remember from those times was that the women were the wise woman. Her intuition was honoured very, very much. And so the women's intuition, if they felt that it was because they were in tune deeply with the earth, they were in tune deeply with what was going on and connected to what was going on at these subtle levels. And there is a reason that women are designed for that. Women are designed to have babies. And for the species to survive, women needed to be connected to those subtle levels to be able to subtly notice when their child needed feeding, when something was going to, when they weren't feeling so well, when they were going to get sick. They needed to be subtly connected to the changes in their environment to protect their child. So there's a reason that the feminine energy is connected into those the subtle landscape. And so in these tribes, they could understand, they honoured this. And so they would take what they said in great esteem. They would move the tribe to different feeding grounds earlier than normal on the word of the wise woman who says, the buffalo aren't coming again. We will have no food. We need to move now. And so they honoured that, and that's how they stayed alive. The divine feminine honoured her intuition, brought it forward to the tribe, and then the divine masculine said, let's move, and moved. Everybody moved the tribe. That's how it can honour and work. And it honours, you need to honour and work it within yourself as well. It's not just about you and the next male around you, it's about you and you as well. So often we move into this really great feminine space and we forget about our masculine. But we need our masculine to help bring forward those feminine intuitions and creations. Okay, so connect and listen to your intuition. Very, very powerful. Let's see what else, Spirit. Anything else to help people connect to their feminine energy? Nope, now we're going to do the practice. Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go over this before I take you through a practice and a bit of a healing with that. So, I'm going to leave that up for a minute so you can write that down. Honour your cycles. Learn about that. There are many, many great people who teach about this. So find one that resonates with you. Great teachers. Helps with all your health issues. Helps with all your life issues as well. Fantastic for that. Align with the moon. Get to know the moon cycles. What's the moon doing? Remember, you're deeply connected to the moon. Whether you know it or not, whether you've been ignoring it or not, your body knows it. Get to know your female body, touch your body, know it. Become intimate with your body. Move your body in sensual ways. So not just in masculine, strong, powerful ways, move your body in sensual ways as well. Honor your emotions and your emotional landscape. They're important. They will let you know what's going on. In fact, I'll talk an example of this. Okay, so a few days ago, we're in the process of buying a new car, and it's taking a little while for the finance to go through. And we've had an interesting year with finances. My husband and I both have small businesses, and so it's been not so great financially, which has been awesome. We've been working through lots of wonderful, wonderful experiences with that, and learning and growth, which I'm so grateful for. And so this car came out of I was listening to my intuition. I wasn't even thinking of buying a new car. And I got guided so strongly to go buy a new car, which has all worked out fantastically as to why. But the finance is taking a little while to go through. They're having a few issues with it. And I had a complete emotional breakdown about it. I just picked up my kids and I had them in the car and I was sobbing all the way home. And I was yelling. I had rung my husband and was trying to talk to him about it. And he's so beautiful. He was just listening to me as I'm going, and fuck the stupid world and fuck the banks. And I was having this huge, huge outburst. Now, I'm an emotional being, but very rarely am I rage-filled or hate-filled or full of all this energy. And I ended up I sat out in my car in the garage with the music on. God, I love that. If you do that, it's so awesome. No kids, no husband, windows up, music up loud, and it's just your own space. So I took that time because I knew that I was so filled with emotion, so much emotion. And the next day, I had this experience of Goddess Kali coming in, and again, filled with this rage emotion. And interestingly, a few minutes later, after honouring and noticing this, I was aware of the huge hurricane Patricia. They'd just released images of her and that she was heading towards Mexico. And so I had this huge, huge, huge experience of emotion moving through me. Now, if I had held that in, it would have made me sick. Eventually, my body wouldn't have been able to cope with all that energy. It's meant to move. Now, none of my energy, like I didn't ring anybody and go, you're an asshole. I didn't do anything. I knew that this was just my emotion. I was working through my own disempowerment issues. And that emotion helped to shift things. It helped to move that energy through my body so that I could have an understanding of it later on. And that's where sometimes, like it is so important to move that energy through. Because also what happens is when you move the energy through and allow it to move through your body, you shift the things in the physical. And so that was triggered by something that was happening with the finance of my car. Now that's shifted a whole lot of beliefs that were stuck in my energy. And really doesn't matter what happens with the car, whether we get the finance or not, because that experience has moved, although I really want the car, has moved and shifted so many beliefs that weren't working for me, so many experiences that I'd been holding on to. And that is the power of your emotions. So honor them. Work with them. Don't deny them. Okay, so honor your emotions and your emotional landscape. And I took time to honor that. I knew I was losing the plot. So I was like, allow myself to remove myself from my family for a little while. And, it was only half an hour of losing the plot completely and allowing myself that time without hurting anybody, without yelling and screaming at anybody or making it anybody's fault. Allow me just to release and bawl my eyes out, yell and scream and sing at the top of my lungs without anybody hearing. Okay, so honor your inner landscape. Connect with your womb. Remember, your womb holds so much wisdom. So much wisdom. And I'll be teaching about that. I'll do a whole workshop on that and take you through that. I'm not sure. That should be coming up soon. I'm going to be doing that in Perth soon, and a live one, and then I will do an online one. Connect with the earth. Take time out each day. Become aware of the earth around you and connect and listen to your intuition. Honor it. So hopefully you've got those to write down if you want. Okay, now let's take you through a practice. So some of those things you may find, like sometimes we want to know, what are the practical things? Should I wear more flowy skirts? And, you know, like if you feel like embodying the feminine and wearing a long flowy skirt allows you, or a dress allows you to feel that, that's awesome. Go for it. If it's wearing sexy matching underwear, go for it. If it's wearing nice earrings or a bit of makeup or doing your hair, that's awesome. If it doesn't, that's all right too. Those are just ways of helping you to embody being female. So do what works for you. And those other ways, sometimes they're not the ways that we think are going to work, but try them, practice them. Okay. So, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me, either Facebook or through my website at www.michelleeves.com. Okay. And I think I'm on all social media anyway, so you can find me on a lot of those places, or Michelle Eves. Okay, so let's do a little practice that you can do regularly to get in touch with your feminine energy and your feminine side, and embody that and bring that out more in your life. When we do these, when we start to honor our feminine energy and our feminine selves, life gets so much easier. It really, really does. We drop the struggle. It doesn't mean that life becomes perfect. But oh my gosh, it's so much easier to navigate. We become more fulfilled. We become full of energy. We become full of life. We become more of ourselves. And so we feel more secure. We feel happier. It will show up in all your relationships. It will show up in the abundance in your life. It will show up in your health and well-being. You will start to notice the differences. So honor yourself. The more you honor yourself, the more that you become this amazing person you were meant to be on the planet. Okay, so just taking, and my hands are going, my hands do this when it's time to do some healing. Okay, so just taking a few deep breaths. I'm going to take you through a bit of a practice. Don't worry if you can't connect to it this first time. It's okay. You can just practice again. Take yourself through it again, and it may not resonate with you, and that's okay too. So we're just going to take a few deep breaths, just centering ourselves, just relaxing, letting go. Just starting to connect with your feminine body. Notice your body, become aware of it. How does it feel today? Become aware of your feelings. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling happy, relaxed, inspired, creative, in love? Just closing your eyes, taking the time to just be with you, to honor yourself, to honor your inner landscape. I'm just going to call in your guides, your angels, and create a sacred space here for all those who connect to this video, that this space is only for the highest vision, the highest energy, highest purpose for all involved. And now I want you to take your energy out of your head. So often we reside in our heads. Bring that energy down, down into your womb. Notice it dropping down into your body, down into your womb area. You may want to put your hands on your lower belly, just connecting with your womb. And we're going to breathe in and out from our womb space. So breathing in into your womb and out of your womb. This is also the space of your sacral chakra. And as you're breathing in, you can breathe in through that chakra, breathing out. Just allowing your intuition and your inner knowing to guide you. You don't need to logically understand. It doesn't need to make sense. And it's all right if you're not feeling or seeing anything. Just know that your body knows how to connect, that your being and your soul, your energy knows how to do this. So just taking the time, breathing in into your womb and out of your womb. Now visualize yourself within your womb. Become aware of how it looks to you. Maybe you can see yourself in your physical uterus. Notice the walls of the uterus. Maybe it's a beautiful room that is decorated with luscious cushions and curtains, beautiful places to lounge and sit around. There's lavish amounts of food and wine. It feels rich and decadent. Or maybe your womb space is a beautiful, comfy country cottage that just feels warm and nurturing, like a mother's hug, holding you safe. For some of you, you may find there's a disconnection, that you're not ready to go into this space, and that is okay. Just allow yourself to notice this. Maybe you find yourself being distracted, thoughts coming in that you are following and going with, and you have to keep reminding yourself to come back to your womb space. Maybe you're trying to get in and you just can't seem to make it happen. Just going to do a little healing around that while we're in this space. So if you're finding a disconnection happening, just going to teach you the Creator's truth and understanding, what it feels like and how to live your life, knowing how to easily and effortlessly connect in with your womb, that you know that it is safe for you to do so, and that you know that you have everything within you to be able to connect in with this space, and that you know that everything that comes up for you, you can heal, dissolve, or embrace easily and effortlessly without fear and without going through old experiences and emotions. That you know your womb is a safe space. Let's remove and dissolve and heal any experiences, any programs and patterns, illusions, distortions, hooks and implants that are keeping you disconnected from your womb space. That you are now free to deeply connect with all of who you are in ways that are perfect and right for you. And so it is. And so now just gently allowing yourself to enter that space. And if you're not ready, it's okay to just stand at the entry to your womb. You might see it as a doorway to a beautiful room. It's okay to stand there. Just wait till you are ready. For some of us, it's been a long time since we've connected with this space and this energy. For some of us, it's been a source of pain, painful experiences. For some of us, we've stored so much of our pain and hurt here that we're not sure we want to enter. If you notice that your womb space feels heavy, distorted, or full of negativity and junk, maybe it's dusty and needs a good clean, you can go through and do that in your mind's eye. Just visualize yourself cleaning up the space and it happening easily and effortlessly. Some of you might become aware of your health issues. If you have any fibroids or growths, might be able to become aware of what is going on in there. Connect to your womb, ask it what is going on. If you have any period issues, menstrual issues, ask your womb, what can I do to support you and help you to ultimate health and well-being? What do you need from me? Just allowing yourself to receive the answers, allowing yourself to connect with this beautiful, amazing space, place within you. For those who are ready, now find the place where you can connect with your ancient womb wisdom, allowing yourself to explore, bring it all forth into your life. It might just be unlocking a door to this. For some of you, it might just be unlocking the door to the connection to your womb, and that is okay. All of us are in different places and different stages in our journeys. All is perfect and divine. And where you are right now is where you're exactly where you are meant to be. Okay. So we're now just going to come back up into our heart spaces, creating a pathway from our womb to our heart that we're able to walk easily and effortlessly whenever we wish to connect to our womb, that we know this pathway and that we know how to connect to it easily and effortlessly. So coming back up into your heart space, and then coming back into your body, connecting with your breath again, feeling it moving in and out of your body. We're going to come back to this time and space. Become aware of the room around you, where you are sitting, how your body feels. And you're going to come back to this space feeling vibrant and healthy, feeling deeply connected. And so it is. How are you feeling? There's a lot of deep healing happening through this video, and so I ask you to just honour yourself for a little while after this. If it is something that has been very new to you, be gentle, be loving towards yourself. Remember, this is not a race or something that you need to achieve. The feminine is this beautiful, chaotic, amazing, flowing journey. And so each time that you are stepping into this, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to get this right in my life, you're moving into the masculine and more of the broken, distorted masculine rather than divine masculine. So allow yourself to be in this space. Allow yourself to honour your chaos. We don't honour chaos enough on this planet. We feel fearful of chaos. It doesn't feel secure to us. And so I challenge you a little to honour the chaos in your life, to honour that and know that there is a foundation in that, a security in that, because out of seemingly chaos comes amazing, amazing new beginnings. It's like in the middle of the birth process when you are birthing a baby. It can feel overwhelming sometimes. It can feel like you're out of control because your body is just doing what it does. And there is a co-creation happening between the universe, between you, between the baby, to bring it into being. And out of that chaos comes new life, birthed new life into the world. So go forth, honouring your feminine, amazing energy, your feminine wisdom. It is so powerful. If each and every woman learnt to connect to this, if we taught our daughters this, that was what they were born into and grew up in, we'd have a very, very different world to how it looks now. And it can be changed so easily. So honour each and every one of you that has taken this journey, or is just starting out on this journey. You're fucking amazing. Know that you are brilliant and beautiful and magnificent. Honour your beauty. And I'm not talking about surface beauty, I'm talking about embodied beauty, the beauty that we see out in Mother Nature, in beautiful Gaia. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has helped and has answered some of your questions. Again, if you need clarification, please feel free to contact me, www.michelleeves.com. Much love to all of you. Bye.